Hello, guys. What's going on? Today I just thought I'd talk to you a little bit about, well, album covers, uh, and how they come to be. Usually I just use Fiverr to produce my album covers, and I'm really satisfied with the result of Fiverr, so I'm probably gonna continue using them. But I just thought I'd share with you my cover for "Waiting for God" by Xanitra. And I use Paint to paint my covers. It's probably not the most professional software as it's free with Windows, but I've never really had any knowledge on painting as such and using programs and painting with the computer, so that's probably why I use it. Uh, but for the cover of Waiting for God, I started with this as a concept art. It was sort of a the cross from Christianity and a little devil's tail there in the end there, and some horns on the top, and that's what it all started. And I was looking at this in 3-4 months, and I remember that I had a lot of work at the time, and I couldn't really get going with this artwork. So I had this lying around for 3-4 months, and then I suddenly came back to it, and I thought to myself, how can I make this better? How can I make this evolve with my skills, painting skills? And as you see my other Xanitra covers, most of them are made by people from Fiverr, and I'm really satisfied. But this, I just wanted to make it simple, really. And I also did that with Waiting for Satan, which was the previous album. So Waiting for God. So I started fooling around with the idea that I wanted to make this a really simple cover. So I tried out different ideas. I went back and forth here from this to this. And I thought to myself, hey, okay, what can make this look a little bit more professional? Because this looks pretty ridiculous, to be honest with you. Yeah. So I went back and forth here for some weeks, and then I started to realize that I need to put the title of the album in some way in the cover. So then I tried this idea, Waiting for God at the top there, or not at the top, but in the beginning of the title, and Xanitra, the eye being a part of the cross. So I went with this idea for some weeks, and but I thought to myself, no, uh, that won't do. I thought. So I kept dabbling around with some ideas, and some ideas I don't even have on file here because it was so ridiculous that I just deleted them. But I ended up with not using the eye as a part of the cross, but putting Waiting for God there and Xanitra on the other side of the cross on the bottom there. But I still wanted to make it a little bit devilish. I didn't want it to be all about Christianity. I wanted to be sort of a link to my previous album, which was Waiting for Satan. So I started to do some changes to the crosshair. And that the cross would have a sort of a cross-eyed head or something like that. And I was so satisfied with that I just continued working around that. So I added some coloring and gave the cross some wings, as it were. I don't know if it's called wings, but I just call it wings. And I felt here that I was in the right direction, but I really just wanted to keep the tail, as it were, but not make it like it was too much part of the cover, but just a little small detail. And the colors, even though colors are really cool and can be a very efficient way to describe emotions and stuff, I felt in this particular sense that the colors overcomplicated the covers, so I removed the covers entirely. And I thought to myself, this is looking pretty good, so how can I do the tail? So I just did an effect on paint where you bend what you already made. So I bent the lowest part of the cross with the effect of paint. And this is the final result of the cover. Yeah. So that's basically it. That's the cover, and I did a refit of the graphics to make it fit the required pixels of the cover. So I can't show you this here now, but this is what the cover looked like in the end. And I released the cover as is, so really efficient, really simple, but sometimes less is more, and in this case it proved to be true. And this album is one of my more successful albums on Spotify. So there you go. That's the history behind the cover of Waiting for God, which I made myself before I started using Fiverr and having professionals making my covers for me. Thank you for watching, and have yourself a nice day. Take care. Bye-bye.